Today we're taking a look at these MLB matches, which are happening on Saturday, May 6, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and to push the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also check out our Patreon if you want access to our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money, and if you are interested in props and parlay picks, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link to our Patreon and to our new channel in the description and comments section below. Toronto Blue Jays vs Pittsburgh Pirates. The Blue Jays head to Pittsburgh in the midst of a 9-game road trip that has not started well. They were swept in a 4-game series by the Red Sox, making it 5 straight losses overall. The series ended with an 11-5 defeat on Thursday, where starting pitcher Kevin Gausman, 2-3, gave up 10 hits and 8 earned runs over 3.1 innings. Another strong offensive performance by first baseman Vlad Guerrero Jr. was not enough to overcome the 6-0 hole Toronto dug for itself after 2 innings. Guerrero went 2-for-5 with a pair of RBI and homered for the second consecutive game. Like Toronto, the Pirates entered their weekend series after being swept by an AL East foe. Pittsburgh has lost 4 straight entering Friday, including 3 in a row at Tampa Bay. The Pirates tried to rally in the 9th inning on Thursday, but ultimately fell 3-2 to the Rays. Pittsburgh only had 4 hits, including a 2-run double in the 9th inning by first baseman Carlos Santana, who finished 2-for-4 on the day. I like the approach that both of these teams take at the plate, so for me, this comes down to the starting pitching and home field advantage. Jose Berrios has carved out a nice career over the years, but he's been too wild and inconsistent as a Blue Jay to trust on the road against a first-place team, even if it is the Pirates. Pitching on the road was problematic for Berrios last season, as he finished the 2022 campaign with a 6.36 ERA away from home. Berrios is on a similar trajectory this year, except even more drastic. Berrios has a 7.77 ERA in 4 starts away from home this season, but 0.75 in 2 starts in Toronto. For Pittsburgh, Johan Oviedo has had mixed results in the major leagues, but like Berrios, most of his struggles have been on the road. This season, Oviedo's ERA at home is an even 3.00 compared to 5.85 on the road. He'll enjoy taking the mound on Saturday in Pittsburgh, where his team is 9-4 this season. Give me the Pirates as a home underdog. I'm siding with the over in this game. Both of these offenses have been well above average to begin the season, and neither starting pitcher is very trustworthy. If the road numbers for Berrios listed above aren't enough, take a look at his splits across each month over his career. His career ERA in May is 4.50, which is the second highest of any month for him. He has the talent to go out there and throw a gem, but it seems more likely he'll have another letdown on Saturday. Pittsburgh and Toronto are both in the top 10 of the MLB in hits per game, and the Pirates' ability to create havoc on the base paths will open more doors for them to push runs across. I am playing the trends here as well, as the over has hit in 5 straight games for Toronto entering Friday night and 3 out of 5 for Pittsburgh. I like the over. Chicago White Sox vs Cincinnati Reds. After taking the first 2 games, the White Sox dropped the series finale to the Twins by a score of 7-3. DH Eloy Jimenez hit a 2-run homer in the 3rd to get the bats going for Chicago, but not much aside from Jimenez was done offensively, as he accounted for all 3 RBIs on the day. The White Sox managed 7 hits on the day, but were unable to take advantage. Lucas Giolito tossed for 7 innings and struck out 7, while allowing just 1 run, while walking 3. Cincinnati comes into this game with a run differential of -24, which is 22nd in the league. While the Reds hit bottom 6 in at-bats per game, they have done well with a batting average that is hovering right around league average. Even with their pretty decent batting average, the Reds hit bottom 10 in runs scored on a per-game basis, which is in large part due to their inability to hit for extra bases, a ranking in which they sit near the bottom of the MLB. The Reds have been stifled at the plate a fair amount as well as they sit bottom 10 in strikeout rate. Their high strikeout rate coupled with their low extra base hit rate has resulted in the Reds often leaving runners stranded. If the Reds are able to get to Clevenger, they stand a good chance of getting extra bases and driving runs in. Even with Clevenger struggling in the early going on the road, he has exhibited great stuff on the mound and should thrive here against a Reds offense that has struggled to stay disciplined in the box. Lodolo has been victim to the long ball at far too frequent a rate this season, and the White Sox, while not bombers by any means, do have the ability to take advantage of ill-timed pitches. Take the White Sox to get the series first. Chicago money line. Even with each of these pitchers not being synonymous with excellence, neither of these offenses has exhibited consistent strength either. I expect the offenses to continue to struggle here, and with each team fond of leaving runners in scoring position, even if they are able to rack up the hits, there's not much confidence those runners will get home. Lodolo has been allowing a high amount of homers, but Chicago hasn't proven they can regularly make pitchers pay. Expect this total to stay under the number. Our total pick is under 9.5 runs. Oakland Athletics vs Kansas City Royals. It was really a tale of three parts in Friday's series opener with the Royals, as the A's jumped out to a 9-2 lead, gave up 6 straight runs, and piled on 3 insurance runs in the final 2 innings. Oakland ultimately prevailed 12-8 and cashed as a plus 125 betting favorite. Meanwhile, the pre-game total of 9.5 runs was no match for the 20 combined runs, as it soared over. The team as a whole recorded 17 total hits, while Brent Rooker led the way with a home run and a 3-5 night overall. Tony Kemp and Ryan Noda each added 3 hits as well, with both players going 3-4. As for the pitching, Kyle Muller made the start and earned his first win of the year. However, he was far from perfect as he surrendered 5 earned runs on 8 hits and 3 walks over 5.1 innings pitched. Brad Keller made the start for Kansas City Friday night, and the veteran hurler was torched for 7 runs, 6 earned, on 11 hits and 4 walks over 4.1 innings. He was charged with a loss in the 12-8 defeat. However, the bullpen didn't provide much support as the 3 subsequent pitchers allowed 5 combined runs. Offensively, the Royals recorded 10 hits. Nick Pratto, 2-4, and Hunter Dozier, 2-2, were the only players to go for multiple hits. As I mentioned above, Kansas City mounted a late comeback to pull within 1 run, but they ultimately came up short. This is what most people are calling the toilet bowl of the MLB, as the Athletics, 7-26, and Royals, 8-25, are the 2 worst teams in all of baseball. In an odd way, it creates a spin to make this game fun and exciting, as these 2 bottom-tier squads face off in Kansas City. My money's on the Royals to bounce back in this one and cover the run line. What stands out most here is that the Royals see a vast improvement when facing left-handed pitching, which is the arm of choice for A's starter Ken Waldichuk. Kansas City climbs all the way up to 16th in both team batting average, .250, and ops, .735, compared to 24th, .233, and 25th, .676, in those respective categories overall. Now, we don't have any head-to-head statistics to work with for Waldichuk, but he's a subpar pitcher who enters with a 7.26 ERA and 1.65 WHIP. Let's take the home team in what will likely be a higher scoring affair. Our team pick is Kansas City Royals minus 1.5 runs. This season. I also have to add that he's given up 10 home runs this season over his 31.0 innings of work. Finally, Oakland's bullpen is literally the worst in the league, coming in at 30th in both ERA, 6.78, and WHIP, 1.75. The over is the play in this American League showdown. On the flip side, the Royals will send Brady Singer to the bump, and he's been equally as horrendous this year. The right-hander comes in with an 8.49 ERA and 1.52 WHIP, and he's given up 6 long balls over 6 starts. On top of that, Kansas City's bullpen is 27th in the league in ERA, 5.51, and 26th in WHIP, 1.51. With 2 bad pitchers heading to the bump, we should be in for a barn burner. Our total pick is over 10 runs. Milwaukee Brewers vs San Francisco Giants. Colin Ray has been doing incredibly poorly throughout the season, according to his baseball saving page, as he is in the 12th percentile in hard hit percentage. He throws 6 pitches with 3 of them being thrown at least 24.9% of the time. Ray faced the White Sox once last season and has not faced the Giants since 2016, so it will be interesting to see how his stuff plays here. The San Francisco Giants have been a decent offensive team thus far as they are tied for 11th in MLB with a .749 team ops with 4.5 runs per game up to this point. However, they are not getting 2 base hits as they are tied for 28th with 40 doubles as a team. Left fielder Lamont Wade has been a force at the plate as he has a .993 ops with 6 home runs, 9 RBI, 12 runs scored, and a stolen base without being caught. The difference in the starting pitchers is going to be a large difference as Alex Cobb has shown to do well as a whole. Well, we have to see what someone like Colin Ray will prove, but needs to step up here. A huge difference has been with their bullpen as the Giants are 28th in the sport with a 6.26 reliever ERA, while the Brewers are 11th with a 3.62 bullpen ERA up to this point. The Brew Crew is 1-4 in their last 5 road games against the Giants, so go with the San Francisco Giants to win this game. Our team pick is San Francisco Giants. These starting pitchers have shown the ability to take care of the opposing hitters, as Colin Ray has a .208 opposing batting, while Alex Cobb has more of a resume and is pitching to a .255 career batting average against. Looking at the batting average of balls in play as a whole, these teams are right in the middle, as Milwaukee is 17th with a .298 BABIP, while San Francisco is right ahead of them in 16th place with a .299 BABIP. The under has hit in 7 of the previous 9 games, so go with the under 8.5 runs here. Baltimore Orioles vs Atlanta Braves. The Orioles entered this one at 22-10, and if it weren't for a historic start from the Tampa Bay Rays, they'd be in first place in the AL East right now. Regardless, it looks like the Orioles are seriously going to push for their first playoff berth in quite some time. One thing worth noting for this matchup is that Baltimore has looked great away from home, with a 13-6 road record entering this one. They've scored the 6th most runs in baseball this season, and the offense has been particularly heating up lately. In 3 of their past 4 games, they've scored at least 9 runs, including in this series' opener on Friday evening. Shortstop Jorge Mateo is absolutely mashing, and he has 11 stolen bases to go along with his .925 ops. The Nationals are in the basement, and both the Marlins and Nationals are starting to spiral, so they're in good shape. Atlanta's offense, led by Ronald Acuna Jr., has been great overall. Acuna has a 1.022 ops, and he's far from the only one producing at a high level. But one interesting thing they'll want to improve on is their record at home. The Braves are a remarkable 15-3 on the highway this year, but they're just 7-8 in front of their own fans. And the team is just 8-7 overall in their past 15 after starting off a red-hot 14-4, so it hasn't all been smooth sailing lately. They'll start Spencer Strider here, who is still only 24 but has been very impressive. I've got to take the plus money with the Orioles here because getting better than 2-1 is too good to pass up. Especially when the O's are 13-6 on the road while the Braves are just 7-8 at home. Atlanta got off to a scorching start, but they've been just mediocre ever since. Baltimore has put up at least 9 runs in 3 of their past 4 games, and it's clear now that their success isn't any sort of fluke. They still aren't getting much respect from odds makers, but that won't be the case much longer. These odds are so steep because of the pitching matchup, but Kyle Bradish actually showed a ton of potential down the stretch last year, and his ERA this season has been inflated by one terrible start. Our team pick is Orioles. The over also makes a lot of sense in this spot. Baltimore's lineup is on a heater, and they've scored at least 5 runs in 9 of their past 11 games. They've been incredibly consistent, and I think they'll be able to get to Spencer Strider here as he's still only 24 and has been shaky in 3 of his 6 starts this season. Both of these teams are in the top 6 of the league in runs scored, and both teams have few weaknesses on offense. 7 of the top 8 players in terms of at-bats for Baltimore have an ops of at least .758, while 4 of Atlanta's top 5 have ops of at least .884. Bradish has a 6.14 ERA on the year, so the Braves should have some success as well. I'm expecting plenty of fireworks in this one. Our total pick is over.